Kia ora guys, good afternoon, welcome back to my third video of the day here on the Black Jersey. My name's Max and I am the host of this channel. A big thank you always goes to my patrons over on Patreon, and if you're a new viewer, make sure you subscribe to me and like this video if you're a fan of my content. So Gregor Townsend has named a rather large squad for Scotland's 2023 Six Nations campaign, rounding it out with 40 players in total, which is pretty massive. Jamie Ritchie's retained his role as captain, while Stuart Hogg is set to win his 100th Test cap. Going to be a fair few talking points for this team, so let's get into the exciting, juicy stuff we've got over here and discuss who's in the squad. So they've got four hookers, the first of which is Ewan Ashman. I like the look of him, he's very solid, and I hope he's going to be the first choice hooker somewhere down the line. Fraser Brown, I'm not sure if they're going to use him as the first choice or not, because he has had a few injuries as of late, but at 33 years old with 57 test caps, I would like to see him get a few starts. His ability to get the jackals and cover flanker isn't too bad either. David Cherry, perhaps that's some dead weight you can get rid of. He's been in and out of the squad for a fair few years. At 32 years old with just 8 test caps, I do think it was probably better to get another young player in there. With George Turner in there though as well, it's alright, there's nothing to worry about experience-wise. Turner has stood out for Glasgow for a wee while, so I'm happy to see him in the squad. Simon Birkin, born in New Zealand, is the first prop of the team. With 31 test caps at 32 years old, he probably deserves a fair bit more as he is a pretty decent scrummager. Jamie Batty, he's been around for a wee while as well. Happy to see him there for the power he'll bring to the scrum. Xander Fagerson as well with 54 test caps is going to be a standout at tight head prop, no doubt. I've liked the way he plays for a very long time. Ver Piernell with 50 test caps, South African born, but has played for Scotland for many years with a very successful career over in Edinburgh. Hopefully he's going to get a very good swan song for the World Cup. We've also got Pierre Schoeman, another recent debutant who's been on absolute fire in the last few years for Scotland. And to round out the props, we have Rory Sutherland back from injury. He was amazing for the British and Irish Lions in Scotland back in 2021. Hopefully he's going to get back into form for this time. Javan Sebastian though, jury's probably still out on him for me. Not his biggest fan, but we'll see how he's going to go. Over to the locks, Grant Gilchrist, who captained them against Argentina in the middle of 2022. Always good to have him around for his experience and his line-out reliability. But most importantly, we have both of the Gray brothers in the team for the first time in a very long time. Richie Gray's one of the Scottish greats at 6'9". He was once very recognisable for that peroxide haircut as well. Injuries has made him just have 69 test caps compared to his younger brother Johnny 72, but I'm stoked that he's finally back into the team. Cameron Henderson, haven't actually heard of him before. He's just 23 years old. He's from Leicester Tigers, so he's possibly one of those guys that Steve Borthwick really accelerated the career of. I'm going to do a fair bit of research on him right after I finish recording this video, and Sam Skinner runs it out. He's done very well for Exeter in recent years. I'm just wondering if he's going to get game time at flanker or game time at lock though, as we have seen him cover flanker a wee bit lately. I'm not really too sure about it, Over to the back row though, Josh Bayliss, 25 years old, 3 test caps. Don't really have too much to say about him because he's in a position that's just so dominated by particular players. Andy Christie from Saracens in there as well. He's been on my radar for a couple years or so, and I'm happy he's getting a chance at test level. Luke Crosby, not too familiar with him either, but hopefully he's going to do well when he gets the game time. Jack Dempsey, the former Wallaby, has now earned 4 test caps for Scotland though, after playing his final Australian test in the 2019 World Cup. Must say it's been quite funny to see him repping the Scottish jersey with that Aussie accent, but you know what, he's got the ancestry. He's qualified. Scotland were always going to nab him up. Hopefully he's going to provide some strong experience off that bench. Matt Fagerson, their first choice number 8. Glad he's not injured. They are going to need him big time for this World Cup. Jamie Ritchie, the captain. Just 26 years old with 36 test caps, but I trust Jamie Ritchie to do some very good stuff for Scotland. Hamish Watson then rounds out the loose forwards. He was in my Six Nations team of the tournament, but had a bit of a form slump in the middle of 2022 and didn't really get back to his best, so hopefully he is saving his best for the Six Nations, as he always does, with his high turnover count and Batteram carrying. Now we're getting into the backs. George Horn, after a bit of a exile period, I guess, from Test rugby, I'm happy to see him back in the game. I can still remember his hat-trick in the 2019 World Cup very vividly. Hopefully he's going to get a bit more game time this time. Same with Ben White, who debuted last year. Ben White, I love seeing play. He's such an entertainer, runs brilliant support lines, and of course you're going to need Ali Price in there with his English accent, but it's alright. He calls Scotland his home. He's lived there most of his life. I trust him. He's played 50 tests. You need him for experience. Amazing passing, amazing game management, amazing kicking, and considering Adam Hastings is injured and Finn Russell will be at 10, we will need Scotland to play a bit off 9 as well. We'll move past Russell as I'm not his biggest fan. Ben Healy, who's 23 years old, is in there at 10. Haven't heard a ridiculous amount about him either, so I can always rely on my mate Murray at Blissful Rugby, blow up on TikTok in the last few years or so. He's a very good dude. I'll be able to ask him all the info about Ben Healy. Blair Kinghorn, I hope he gets a good amount of game time at 10. He's done very well converting from a winger and fullback to a 10 in the last few years, so hopefully he's going to shine this time around. Into the midfield, Chris Harris, why? Like, I get that you have a 10 that's not very good at game management and you have to play off 9 a fair bit, but just trying to paper it over with an odd selection somewhere else doesn't fix this inherent issue from Russell at 10. Harris, there's a bit of a narrative around him that he's a very good defensive leader, but guys, we all knew that fell apart when he played against South Africa for the Lions. Of course, Hugh Jones in the team, people have a go at him for his defence, but you cannot ignore such an amazing, potent attacking threat like Hugh Jones. He is one of Scotland's best ever attackers in the modern era. Of course, we go to the new guys, of course. Cam Redpath hasn't really got a ridiculous amount of caps for a guy that's so good. I would prefer to see him at 12. He's 23 years old with just 4 test caps, but he's got a great kicking game. He's a great defender. He's got a lot of power, and because Hugh Jones is a guy who's going to burn you on the outside a fair bit, it makes sense to have a kicker that can also crash ball run at 12. In the centres, we also have Stafford McDowell at 24 years old, who's uncapped. He's coming out of Glasgow. They've produced a lot of very good attacking players. Same with Edinburgh, of course. Hopefully he's going to be another one off that production line. Sione Tuipulotu, who had never lived in Scotland until he started playing for them though. This is I think why a lot of people get upset with Scottish selectors, I guess. I'm not the biggest fan of Tuipulotu either. He's not really a specialist kicker nor a specialist crash ball runner or distributor. So yes, I do want to see Jones and Redpath in the midfield together. Now over to the outside backs, we have Sean Maitland back in the mix. Wow, at 34 years old, he just continues to play so well. The dude was Hundy, robbed of an All Black cap, and I'm glad to see him back in a Scotland jersey, though he's probably not the player he once was. Rory McConaughey, who is an England Sevens player selected for their 2019 World Cup campaign, earns just 2 test caps, and after a wee bit of a stand-down period, he's now eligible for Scotland. He's 31 years old and at a winger, so I don't want to back Gregor Townsend on this one, eh? Kyle Stain, though, he's earned a bit of a reputation. Happy to see him in the squad. Duhan van der Merwe, his South African compatriot. I love watching Duhan van der Merwe play. He's just absolutely incredible, and with Darcy Graham not being selected for the team, they are going to rely on Duhan van der Merwe a fair bit, with Stuart Hogg in there at fullback to get his 100th test cap. Hopefully they're going to play his second fiddle, Ollie Smith, at wing a fair bit, so Smith can at least get a bit of game time at test level, though it won't be in his preferred jersey. You know what, you've just got to develop that talent, because Stuart Hogg, I'm going to be doing a Scotland depth chart before the World Cup. He will be taking up a massive percentage of that 15 depth chart. If there's anything more I have to say for this video, I have to say this Six Nations is going to be a must-win tournament for Scotland. I know they haven't won one since my year of birth, 1999, when it was the Five Nations, but they simply have to get in a period of time where they get a winning streak going, so they know how to win multiple times in a row for that World Cup, considering they are in the pool of death, with England's once again giving them a good chance to win the Calcutta Cup. Hopefully that will set them up to succeed well in this tournament, as every year they lick their lips hoping to get that cup off their big rivals, the English. That'll be all from me for today's video, guys. Thank you very much. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you next time.